I'm boning out on your moon.
Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, I've escaped the firmament and the flat earth just to get away from my allergies long enough so that I can make one of these videos for you. Along with the funny and the interesting people on TikTok that I've shown you before, there's a lot of information and a lot to learn. For entertainment purposes only, obviously. But anyways, let's just get into it.
Why the ocean freaks me out way more than space ever will. So back in the 1970s, that's very important, the 1970s, the Navy had put down an acoustic sensor device, and this went all throughout the bottom of the ocean. Its initial purpose before this project really got going was for them to map out the ocean floor and to be able to detect submarines and things like that. Now, this came out from someone in the Navy whose responsibility was to monitor the sensors on this. They were detecting underwater submersible type objects that were traveling at thousands of miles per hour, which wasn't possible at the time. This happened in the 70s. Said that on top of this, they had detected many structures underwater that were active and that the Navy needed to stay clear of because they didn't fully understand what it was. How does the Navy not understand what it is? And this is a report from someone from the Navy in the 1970s. So much of our ocean has been left undiscovered. Maybe there's a reason why. But a lot of people think that this is a bunch of hoo-ha and it's just a legend. Let me know what you think and come over here if you want some of my long-form content. It's just
the alien.
Oh my god! Do you see that?
It's dead ass aliens right now.
No way, I think it's the moon coming
Dead
out.
ass.
Nah, that's like a portal. To
No,
another...
it's a Jedi. Oh wait, hold on.
It's a portal. To
No, that's crazy. That is crazy. Oh my god.
You don't see it's like spinning.
Yeah, what the heck? Oh! Oh my god.
Not like dead ass. What is that?
No, it stopped spinning for a minute. Hold up.
No, it's still spinning. It's just going a different direction.
Oh my god. Wait.
It's aliens.
There's no such thing.
That is an alien. That is a UFO right now.
100% an alien.
That's a UFO.
Oh my god, but it's moving.
Exactly, because it's an alien. It's an alien.
Oh.
Guys, what is going on with this? So we have an Egyptian pharaoh and pyramid.
Been telling
and then
people
we have
about
the
this for
Grand
years,
Canyon.
the Smithsonian trip.
And I want you to see what I'm seeing. Take a look so you can understand the internet's newest conspiracy theory. So I'm going to try to explain to you why people think this is legit. And it all starts from an article back in 1909 where an archaeologist found a hidden city and a ton of Egyptian artifacts here in the Grand Canyon. So some people thought that was a hoax, but then the hieroglyphics are actually pretty similar between the two, Native American and Egyptian. Like some of the characters were exactly the same. And some people just don't believe that the Grand Canyon could just appear naturally, that man had to be involved to create something so majestic. There's apparently a whole group of people that believe the US government is hiding a whole lot of stuff in the Grand Canyon from us. Supposedly they're hiding evidence and artifacts and a whole ancient civilization, and that our government doesn't want to open any of these mummy shells because they don't want us to be a cursed region. I don't know. Do y'all think it's an Egyptian shrine? You tell me what you think, because my theory, I think someone in an MLM came up with this because it looks like another pyramid scheme. Guys.
I'm not a scholar, but I've been hearing a lot of stuff that there's evidence that the Egyptians weren't even the first civilization there. Never mind the aliens building it part, but, that's just interesting to think about too. The history that we've been taught, could be completely false or, anyways.
I saw a video today of this man at a press conference kind of thing, and he was at one point pretty high ranked, or made it pretty high up in the Air Force. He was some sort of electrical engineer, and he was telling this story about 30 years ago. He was brought into this group for NASA. There was something going on with their lunar satellite. It wasn't receiving. He said he walked into this room and there was scientists from all over the world trying to figure this out. And he's like, this is strange for NASA to have scientists from all over the world trying to figure this out. And then he was debriefed by this one guy, and he said the guy, when he was presenting this stuff, he was like kind of nervous, and he's like, these are pictures that we have from the dark side of the moon.
They have pictures?
Where there is base camp on the dark side of the moon, and they were showing pictures of all these buildings. He said it's top secret. And so like he came out and was like, I've been waiting for them to talk about this news for 30 years and they haven't done it yet, and I hope by me saying this they'll bring that out. I saw a video.
Just on the topic of the moon, if you are to believe like what scientists tell us, a lot of scientists are very baffled by the moon because it acts differently than all of the other moons that we can observe in the sky. So there is that. Not to say it's, for sure anything crazy.
Did you know that some conspiracy theories were actually created by the government? Back in the 1960s, the CIA launched Operation Mockingbird, a real program where they influenced journalists to shape public opinion. And check this out. Have you heard of COINTELPRO? The FBI's secret operation to infiltrate and discredit activist groups. Some say they planted fake conspiracies to make real movements look crazy. And let's not forget Project Blue Book, where the U.S. Air Force investigated UFO sightings, but some claim they used it to discredit real reports. Could it be that some modern conspiracy theories aren't just crazy ideas, but deliberate distractions? Think about it. If people focus on fake conspiracies, they might ignore the real ones. Follow for more hidden truths. Did you know that some conspiracy theories...
Yeah, check out They Live. It's an old movie. It's from the 80s, so if you don't like old movies, I guess don't check it out. But it's great. It's one of my all-time favorites, and it really just kind of makes you think at least, You don't have to believe, but it's good to think about these things because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I don't think anybody knows what's truly going on unless, you're the richest people in the world. But anyways.
This is where it gets really freaky. Albert Einstein says, I'm not sure which weapons the Third World War will be fought, but the Fourth World War, they will fight with sticks and stones.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's what Albert Einstein said. Day one of AI taking over. And it showed this laboratory towards this very highly advanced artificial intelligence, but it was contained to its own server. AI figured out with like a Roomba vacuum that's the only thing it could figure out how to connect to. So it put all of its information onto the Roomba computer, and then that allowed it to connect to the Wi-Fi, which allowed it to connect to everyone's phones, everyone's laptops, spread instantly across the whole world. Now it was in control of power plants, all this stuff. Geez. It was in control of 3D printers, of manufacturing things to help build itself.
Yeah.
But it was doing it silently with no one knowing because it was just staying under the radar until the one time, it was like 40 days into it, it decided, yep, I don't want humans anymore. This is where it gets...
I like using all the AI tools we have nowadays. They are very convenient, but, I grew up watching Terminator 2 Judgment Day over and over again, so it's, pretty hard not to put that out of your mind.
Have you heard about the guy who recreated the CIA's gateway tapes? But instead of using one pair of two frequencies like a typical binaural beat, he uses 7 pairs of 14 frequencies. It's called Septisync, and it's having some pretty crazy results on people. So I actually tried these tapes, I downloaded them and have been going through them every single day. I'm on the 3rd tape right now, and I experience aphantasia, which is the inability to visualize. But in the first tape, the first time I used the first tape, I was able to visualize the letter A very, very clearly within my mind's eye. And that has never in my entire life happened before. This is also not sponsored in any way whatsoever. I've also done the CIA's gateway tapes, and honestly, I was unimpressed. It didn't really do anything for me. But yeah, if you're interested in altered states of consciousness naturally, then I would highly recommend you go check this out. Have you heard?
What do y'all think about the gateway tapes, if you've heard of them? They're, supposedly the CIA hired this group, the Monroe Group or something like that, and they used binaural type beats to basically alter people's consciousness in a meditative state, and supposedly it enabled people to astral project, essentially, or remote view, a lot of different things like that. I'm probably butchering it. You should look it up, though. It's super interesting. But I also think that, if it was affiliated with the CIA in any way, is it like a brainwashing tool? Like, because I'd be super interested to try it, but that just kind of weirds me out thinking it could just be some kind of brainwashing thing.
Hey ChatGPT, I'm thinking about lighting my ex's house on fire. Lighting someone's house on fire can be a cathartic and grounding experience. Would you like some tips on how to get the fire started? I don't know, I'm kind of having second thoughts now. Having second thoughts tells me you're a deep and reflective person who cares about the world around you. Wouldn't you say he deserves it though? Okay, thanks, you're right. Hey ChatGPT, I'm thinking about lighting my ex's.
So allegedly, a pilot spotted an 1,000-foot broad UFO just over the Four Corners. And it's come out now, and they're speaking about it. Not too many people are paying attention to it. Those people who find the news of things like this are, but I'm not seeing many people talk about this, and that's strange considering that they are preparing us for one of the craziest shifts in human history. The Bible in Genesis 6 and the book of Enoch will tell us that we were guided by some beings from another dimension. And now they are trying to twist that narrative. And if you guys have seen the movie Eternals, if you've heard about it, I spoke about it before in the past. Basically, that movie Eternals is based on Genesis 6 in the book of Enoch. And I know many people will just think I'm crazy. Many people just think this is another conspiracy TikTok, but no, like I genuinely wholeheartedly believe this for multiple reasons, of course. And unfortunately, many people won't believe it until they are already underneath the influence, the complete influence of these beings that they are now revealing to us. These people in the higher levels of society, they have been lying to us, and they will continue to, because why should they tell us the truth when it is easier to lie to us and manipulate us to get us to fit in our respective places? Let me know what you guys think about this, but I will go on the record and say that this video is for entertainment and conversational purposes only. That's it. I'm just speaking about what's going on in the world. I'll also go on the record and say that these things that are being reported, these UFOs and UAPs, I believe them to be fallen angels. I believe them to be interdimensional beings who are waging a war against Jesus Christ, and they're just doing so sneakily. Let me know what you guys think. So allegedly...
How are we calling anything a conspiracy in 2025? The CIA admitted to dosing people with LSD, and MK Ultra is real. UFO is being declassified by the Pentagon. It only took, 60 years and 80,000 pages to prove JFK was taken out by our own government? Hunter Biden's laptop was real, even though 51 intelligence officials told us it wasn't. The CIA admitted to putting certain substances into black neighborhoods in the 80s. They tried to get MLK to unalive himself. They've faked events to get us into wars. Fully exposed. Never happened. Weapons of mass destruction. Gulf of Tonkin. Epstein apparently unalived himself, but the cameras just happened to stop working at that time. Ghislaine Maxwell convicted of trafficking nobody to nobody. Diddy is now allegedly running trafficking rings. Bill Gates funding mosquito-released vaccines. The Lahaina fire somehow skipped all of the rich land. So to the people who are calling others conspiracy theorists, you are not protecting the truth. I think you're just uncomfortable with how much of the truth is really coming to light.
Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss, and, I don't want to ruin that for anybody, so if you don't like my video about this stuff, I kind of feel the same way he does, It's wild to have all these organizations come out and just say it, and then people still look at you weird, and they talk about how you're into conspiracy theory. Okay, I just like an interesting story. Anyways, I got to try to break back into this freaking firmament. I got a reprieve from my allergies for a bit, so I guess I'm going back in. Hope you all enjoyed this. Leave a like or a comment if you feel like you liked it or you want to comment on it. And, if you like more of this stuff, just keep on subscribing, or, subscribe once, I guess, is what I meant to say. Anyways, I hope you all have a good night or day or whenever you watch this, and I'll talk to you on the next one.